Thank you for listening to ShulchanAruch.com.
Minyan troubles. What are you supposed to do if you're already up to Yishtabach, the minyan's up to Yishtabach, but there's no minyan? You're waiting for the 10th man. Where is the most appropriate waiting spot for the 10th man to enter and continue from there? Should you wait between Az Yasher and Yishtabach? Should you already recite Yishtabach and then wait between Yishtabach and Yitzhar? What should you do? What should the Chazan do? And what's done if the Chazan already said Yishtabach and then the 10th man walked in? So in general, in this question, we have two conflicting halachic preferences or requirements. One is to approximate Yishtabach to Psukei D'Zimra as much as possible, so that as soon as you're done saying Az Yasher, you should say Yishtabach right away. On the other hand, in order for the half Kaddish to be recited after Yishtabach, Yishtabach has to be said right before you say the half Kaddish, as you can never say Kaddish without saying verses of praise beforehand. So wherever we wait, we're going to have a problem. So what should you do? So this question is not a new question of this generation. For generations over, Minyanim have had minyan troubles of getting a 10th man before Yishtabach, and they've had this question, and the Poskim address it as follows. The Ramah in chapter 53, halacha 3, rules, and so is recorded in all the Poskim, including the Alter Rebbe in 53.3, the Magen Avram, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Kaf HaChaim, and others, that in the event that a minyan is not yet available in shul, then the chazan is to wait between Az Yasher and Yishtabach until the 10th man arrives. He waits quietly without saying anything, not to make an interruption, a hefsek. And when the 10th man arrives, he then says Yishtabach aloud in Kaddish. As the Alter Rebbe and Magen Avram add, that he can even wait for a period of 30 minutes or more in that place, and the delay does not invalidate the Psukei D'Zimra. This is all, however, only regarding the chazan. However, everyone else in the minyan, writes the Magen Avram, and so is recorded in the Mishnah Brura and in the Ksais HaShulchan and other Poskim, they should already continue and finish Az Yasher and say Yishtabach, and they should wait between Yishtabach and Yitzhar. As we stated earlier, one is meant to approximate Psukei D'Zimra to the final after blessing of Yishtabach as much as possible. So while by the Chazan, since he has to say his half Kaddish, we say wait before Yishtabach, because you have to say Kaddish right after Yishtabach. So don't continue with Kaddish, with Yishtabach, till the minyan comes. Everybody else, who they're just hearing the Kaddish and not saying the Kaddish, they should right away finish with Yishtabach and wait in between. Alternatively, they can wait in the middle of Az Yasher, and then when the 10th man comes, they'll finish Az Yasher and say Yishtabach. And this option is also available for the Chazan himself, and this is what is commonly done, that the Chazan waits before finishing Az Yasher, usually by V'haya Hashem L'melech, and then when the 10th man comes, he finishes from V'haya Hashem L'melech HaKol Haaretz, and then afterwards he says Yishtabach. And in this way, he gets both advantages, that he approximates Psukei D'Zimra to Yishtabach, and he says Yishtabach right before the half Kaddish. Now, what do you do in the case when the Chazan already said Yishtabach and there wasn't a minyan? He didn't know the halacha, or he didn't know he was going to be the Chazan. After he finished Yishtabach, they asked him to become the Chazan, and the 10th man arrived. What does he do? Practically, the Poskim rule in such a case that the Chazan must repeat 3 verses, preferably 3 b'diavad too, but preferably 3 verses aloud from Psukei D'Zimra. As since you already said Yishtabach, you can't repeat it again, and Kaddish must be said only after you say verses aloud. Therefore, he has to repeat 3 psukim aloud, whatever psukim he chooses. And only afterwards will he go ahead and say the Chetzi Kaddish. It's a little strange. People that don't know this halacha will look at it very weird, but this is the halacha. That's recorded in the Poskim, so rules the Derech HaChaim, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the Mishnah Brura, the Ksais HaShulchan, based on the ruling of the Alter Rebbe in 54.4 and the Ramah and Rishonim, that you can never say Kaddish without saying psukim beforehand. And even though the Taz and other Poskim argue, this is how we rule. In the event that the Chazan does not wish to repeat any verses, then Kaddish is not to be said, it's not allowed to be said, and he must begin straight from Baruch Hu, without saying Kaddish beforehand. So to summarize, where should you wait for the minyan? At the end of Psukei D'Zimra. If you're not the Chazan, then you should wait after Yishtabach. Don't wait between Az Yasher and Yishtabach. If you are the Chazan, then you should wait between Az Yasher and Yishtabach, and preferably wait before the words Hashem, V'haya Hashem L'melech. In the event the Chazan already said Yishtabach, then he is to say 3 psukim when the 10th man arrives, and then go ahead and say the Chetzi Kaddish. Otherwise, he should just begin with Baruch Hu without the Kaddish at all.
Thank you for listening to ShulchanAruch.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at ShulchanAruch.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.